Is there a new powerhouse in the AFC East? Let's find out. Welcome back to the Green Means Go channel. It's your host, me. Happy you stopped by. This is going to be the first of 8 videos that I make about each division. I'm going to be breaking down each division, the roster changes, win totals, other bets I like to give you kind of an overview as we come up on what is just under or just at 8 weeks until the NFL season actually begins. So we will start with the AFC East and we will move our way through all of the divisions, all of the teams, and give you some ideas to consider moving forward into the season. So we'll start here simply with the depth charts. If you look at the Bills' depth charts, they retain pretty much the same offense. Now they lose Devin Singletary. They're going to roll with James Cook. They pick up Damian Harris from the Patriots. Latavius Murray from the Saints, keep their receiving core. They lost Cole Beasley, didn't do a ton for him last year anyway. They lose Isaiah McKenzie to the Colts. But again, their main pieces are there. They pick up a tight end in Dalton Kincaid in the draft, who I think fits pretty well for this team. Looking at the Jets, I mean, probably one of the biggest offseason moves was picking up Aaron Rodgers through a trade. And they have given him a few pieces that he's familiar with. Alan Lazard, Randall Cobb, 2 guys he's worked with in the past. So not only does that help him on the field, I think just a locker room presence, the synergy that they're going to have, I think that's absolutely massive. Not to mention, Garrett Wilson being quite a stud in his first year, speedy guy from the Chiefs. Been with Patrick Mahomes, knows how to work hard, and McCole Hardman. Tyler Conklin's no slouch, right? CJ Uzama might be getting up there in 8. I look at this team and I think, watch out. I do think I will drink the Jets Kool-Aid right now. I think that it is on par with the expectations being set for them, and I think they will be fine if they can stay healthy. Other 2 teams in this division are the Patriots, who again look pretty similar. Mac Jones, Ramondre Stevenson. They lose Damian Harris, like I said, so it looks like Stevenson should be the guy. Juju Smith-Schuster they pick up from the Chiefs, Devontae Parker, Tyquan Thornton. So, this isn't too flashy, but I think it can just get the job done. They pick up Mike Gesicki from the Dolphins. So I'm not too impressed with this roster. But I'm never going to count out a Belichick team, so we'll see what happens. And finally, we have the Dolphins. Tua, Raheem Mostert, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, one of the better pairs on paper. But outside of that, if I have to pick an overrated team in this division, I think it is the Miami Dolphins. I'm not sold on Tua. I'm not sold on his abilities as a true passer. Now, Tyreek Hill makes it easy to not be a true passer. You can set up little screens and such for him, and it can kind of inflate stats. So we'll see what they do, but I don't love the Dolphins this year. And you will see that going forward. So speaking of going forward, let's go ahead and look at these win totals here. So what I did in another video, which I'll link right here, and I will warn you right now, it is not exciting. It's not fun. It is just me going through picking every single game of this upcoming season before the season starts and getting an idea of how I think teams will do. So I have the Bills winning the division, going 6-0 in the division at 13-4. I have the Jets at 13-4 as well, getting off to a pretty slow start. They have one of the hardest schedules to begin with in the National Football League. I think they play the Bills, the Chargers, the Chiefs, all within the first 3 to 4 weeks. So that's going to be a real test for them. I have the Dolphins going 5-12, which may be underselling them a little bit, and the Patriots going 2-15, which I will sit here and say I probably messed up. Okay. Bill Belichick winning only 2 games in a season does not seem reasonable, but that's what I came up with. So the lines right now for the Bills are 10.5. I'm only 2 wins off of that, so I'm going to stay away from any bet related to the over on the Bills season. I think too much could go wrong. They lose Josh Allen to an injury week 3. You kiss the over goodbye, right? So I'm staying off of that. This is tempting. Jets over 9.5, but I'm not going to take it because I think there's a better opportunity, which we'll talk about in a second. Dolphins, though, at under 9.5, I think is a great bet being in a division that is getting significantly tougher, having to play the AFC West this year for the Dolphins games are against the Broncos, the Chargers, the Chiefs, and the Raiders, which I think they could lose 3 of the 4 of those games. So I don't think their schedule treats them nicely, and I think under 9.5 wins is a great spot for the Dolphins here. And finally, the Patriots, again, like I said, 2 is probably a little bit of an overkill. However, their line is set at 8 wins, 7.5, and I think under is very reasonable for that. I could see them losing all of their division games. So, um, you know, under 7.5, I think is a great spot for the Patriots. Looking over at some season-long specials that are being offered on FanDuel, and again, I looked at all these teams. I couldn't find anything for the Bills or the Dolphins that I like, so we're going to ignore them real quick. But for the Jets, I found 2 that I liked. The Jets to score a touchdown in every regular season game at plus 100. I just think with that offense, with Aaron Rodgers, with Breece Hall, having a year under his belt, with those receivers, with the comfort Rodgers is going to have going in, he's had an entire offseason to be there. It's not like he just got traded last minute. I just think it sets up really well for the Jets, and for plus 100 in a game in a division where I think there's going to be some shootouts in the AFC West teams. I think there's going to be some shootouts. Everything points to this being a great line at even money. Another bet I'm looking at are the Jets to make the playoffs and Green Bay to miss the playoffs. Here's the deal. I don't believe in Green Bay this year. I don't believe that Jordan Love's going to walk in there with a receiving core that's young. Aaron Jones is a dog, is a demon, but I can't see them winning enough games, even though the NFC is weak this year, to get into the playoffs. The Jets line to make the playoffs normal is minus 134. So I'm going to accept that the Packers aren't going to make the playoffs. I'm just going to say that as something I believe. And so now you're giving me the Jets to make the playoffs at plus 150 compared to minus 134. Now I realize that's not the best way to look at it. It's not a way you should always break stuff down, count a leg as a lock automatically. But I do think at plus 150, this is a good price. For reference, DraftKings has Green Bay to miss the playoffs at minus 225. So minus 225 and 134 parlayed is about plus 140. So at worst, this is a fair odds bet, but it is one I like. Last thing I like is a season-long rushing total. Now, I'm going to add a caveat right here, okay? Warning, right here. Sorry. Okay? Look right here. If the Patriots get Dalvin Cook, and they are the favorite right now to get Dalvin Cook, this becomes a bad bet. So if you want to hold off on this and wait until we know more about where Dalvin Cook's going, I would recommend that. But Ramondre Stevenson to rush for over 950 yards, I think, is an absolute gem of a line. Last year, he broke 1,000, and he was splitting carries with Damian Harris for most of the beginning of the season. I think there were something like 8 to 10 games where he rushed for under 50 yards in the game, and he still went over this total and over 1,000. I think as the lead back, if that is indeed what's going to happen, and of course, again, this is a Belichick team, right? So anything is likely to happen. He can mix up personnel more than anybody. But looking at what I think this team is going to try to do, in a division with Josh Allen and Aaron Rodgers, the game plan is don't let them touch the ball. Keep the ball out of their hands as much as possible, and you do that by running the ball. So if Stevenson is already going to get some workload there, if he's not going to have to share carries, and his total is 50 yards less than where he ended up last year, I like the bet, plain and simple. So that is what we are rolling with for the AFC East. Next time we will talk about the AFC North, and this probably one of the most contested divisions there is in football. Again, I appreciate you guys stopping by. If you guys want to like and subscribe, I'm going to be hitting the NFL content pretty hard coming into this season and throughout this season. So I appreciate you guys sticking around to support that. I'm not going anywhere. So get used to me. And again, I appreciate you guys. So take care, and we will see you probably early next week for breaking down the AFC North.